In 1985, a family in Milwaukee bought a top-loading washing machine. It cost the equivalent of about $900 in today's money. It ran every single day for over 2 decades. When the bearings finally wore out sometime around 2009, a repairman came to the house, pressed out the old bearings, installed new ones for under $50 and left. The machine kept running. In 2021, a family in the same city bought a brand new front-loading washing machine. It cost roughly the same amount of money. 4 years later, the drum started making a deep grinding noise during the spin cycle. They called a technician. He looked at it, shook his head, and told them the repair would cost more than the machine was worth. Not because it was destroyed, not because something catastrophic happened, because the part that failed could not be replaced on its own. A $30 bearing had taken out an entire washing machine. This is not a story about bad luck. This is not about one defective unit. This is about a design philosophy that has quietly taken over the appliance industry. And once you understand how it works, you will never look at your washing machine the same way again. Let's start with the part that actually fails, because the failure itself has not changed in 50 years. Every washing machine has a drum. That drum spins at high speed, sometimes over 1,000 revolutions per minute. To spin smoothly under that kind of load, the drum rides on bearings. These bearings are mounted inside a housing on the outer tub, and they are protected from water intrusion by a seal. This system, the bearings and the seal together, is what keeps your drum turning cleanly year after year. Now here is the thing about bearings. They are wear items. They are designed to eventually wear out. That is not a flaw. That is physics. Metal under load and rotation will degrade over time. The seal that protects those bearings will also degrade. Moisture, heat, detergent residue, all of it slowly breaks down rubber and grease. When the seal finally gives way, water creeps into the bearing housing. Once water reaches the bearings, corrosion begins. You start hearing a low rumble during the spin cycle, then it gets louder. Then the drum starts wobbling. Eventually, the bearing seize. This has always happened. This will always happen. It is the single most common mechanical failure in any washing machine on Earth. And for decades, the repair was simple. A technician would open the back of the machine, access the bearing housing, press out the old bearings, press in new ones, replace the seal, and close it up. Total cost for the parts was somewhere between $20 and $40. Labor might bring it to $100 or $150. The machine would run for another 10 years. That was the old design. Now let's talk about what replaced it. In many modern washing machines, the outer tub is no longer a split assembly held together with bolts. It is a single sealed unit. The two halves of the tub are either plastic welded together or bonded in a way that was never intended to be opened. And the bearings are no longer press-fit components sitting in a removable housing. They are integrated directly into the tub itself, molded into the plastic structure as if they were permanent. This means when those bearings fail, and they will fail because the physics has not changed, you cannot simply replace them. The official repair procedure in many service manuals is to replace the entire outer tub assembly. That includes the tub, the bearing housing, the shaft, and in some cases the drum spider as well. A single part that used to cost $30 is now an assembly that costs $400 to $800. Add labor and you are looking at a repair bill that approaches or exceeds the cost of a brand new machine. This is the moment when most consumers hear the phrase that was engineered into the product from the beginning. It is not worth fixing. That phrase is not a diagnosis. It is an outcome, and it was designed into the machine before it ever left the factory. Now there is a second failure that makes this even worse, and it is specific to front-loading machines. Inside the drum, there is a component called a spider arm. It is a metal bracket, usually made from aluminum, that connects the inner drum to the drive shaft. It is the structural backbone of the spinning assembly, and in many modern machines, this spider arm is made from a grade of aluminum that corrodes over time when exposed to moisture and detergent chemistry. This is not some exotic failure. It is well documented in repair communities and service manuals. The aluminum slowly deteriorates. Hairline cracks form. Eventually, one of the arms breaks and the drum loses its center of balance. At that point, the machine shakes violently, sometimes catastrophically. And once again, the repair requires tearing the machine down to a level that most manufacturers never intended anyone to reach. In many sealed tub designs, getting to the spider arm means replacing the rear tub half or the entire tub assembly. A corroded bracket that could have been made from stainless steel or a more durable alloy now becomes another path to the same conclusion. Not worth fixing. So the question is obvious. Why would any company design a product this way? The answer is not sabotage. The answer is economics. A welded plastic tub is cheaper to manufacture than a bolted split tub. It requires fewer fasteners. It requires less assembly time on the production line. It removes an entire category of quality control around sealing surfaces and bolt torque. From a manufacturing standpoint, it is faster, simpler, and more profitable. The same logic applies to the bearing integration. Pressing bearings into a separate housing requires a specific process and a specific component. Molding the bearing seat directly into the tub eliminates that step. It removes a part from the bill of materials. It saves money on every single unit that rolls off the line. And here is where the incentive structure gets truly elegant. When the machine inevitably needs a bearing repair, the service model has also been simplified. A technician does not need a bearing press, does not need specialized tools, does not need to diagnose subcomponent failures. They simply order the entire tub assembly, swap it in, and bill accordingly. Warranty repairs become faster, service calls become shorter, and the cost of that simplicity is transferred entirely to the consumer once the warranty expires. The manufacturer saved money building the machine. The manufacturer saved money servicing the machine under warranty. And when the machine fails after the warranty period, the consumer faces a repair bill so high that they buy a new one instead. Every single incentive in this chain points toward replacement, not repair. This was not an accident. This is a design choice. And the most insulting part is that the machine itself is not broken beyond saving. The motor works, the electronics work, the pump works, the cabinet is fine. A single wear item, a bearing that costs less than a decent lunch, has made the entire appliance economically disposable. Not because the engineering is impossible, because the design made the repair inaccessible. The failure did not change. The repairability did. Now, if you are watching this and wondering what you can actually do, here is the reality. Some machines are still built with serviceable bearing assemblies. Some manufacturers still use bolted split tubs that can be opened. They exist, but you will not find them by looking at the marketing brochure. You will not find them by comparing spin speeds and steam features and Wi-Fi connectivity. You will find them by looking at one thing: the service manual. If the bearing replacement procedure in the service manual says, replace outer tub assembly, that machine was designed to be disposed of. If it says, replace bearing and seal, that machine was designed to be maintained. That is the only spec that matters, and almost nobody talks about it. We have spent the last 30 years measuring washing machines by how many features they have, how quiet the spin cycle is, how large the drum is, how smart the interface looks, but nobody asks the only question that determines whether the machine will last. Can it be fixed when the part that is guaranteed to wear out eventually wears out? A washing machine did not become weaker over the last 3 decades. It became less repairable. The engineering that made it affordable to fix was quietly removed and replaced with engineering that made it affordable to manufacture. The cost of that trade-off was moved from the factory floor to your wallet, and you were never told. This is the disposable economy, not a world where products are too broken to save, a world where products are too expensive to fix, where a $30 part totals a $1,000 machine, where the phrase "not worth fixing" is not a failure of engineering but a success of design. The machines that lasted 25 years were not magical. They were simply built with the assumption that someone would eventually open them up and replace the parts that wear out. The machines that last 5 years are not defective. They were built with the assumption that no one ever would. That is the difference. Not quality, not technology, philosophy. Whether a product is built to be owned or built to be replaced. If you want to see which other products have been engineered the same